Let's get brutally honest for a second. When a woman ignores you, most men panic. They start double texting, blowing up her phone, begging for answers, or worse, trying to prove their worth. And that right there is why most men lose before the game even starts. You see, the moment she ignores you, she's not just being busy, she's testing you. She's silently asking, is this guy confident enough to handle my silence, or is he just another desperate man who can't control his emotions? Now here's the controversial truth most men don't want to hear. A woman ignoring you doesn't automatically mean she's lost interest, but how you react will decide whether she respects you more or whether she never looks back. And unfortunately, most guys make the same 7 mistakes over and over, mistakes that scream weakness, insecurity, and low value. Think about it. Every man wants a woman who looks at him as strong, decisive, and rare, but the second you fall into begging for attention, chasing harder, or trying to guilt her into responding, you've already destroyed that image in her mind. You've gone from the man she could admire to just another guy who can't handle rejection. This video isn't about playing games. It's about strategy, self-respect, and knowing exactly how to respond when she pulls away. Because if you don't, you'll fall into the same traps that millions of men fall into daily. And once you do, there's almost no coming back. So, before you make a move, pay close attention. I'm going to break down the 7 deadly mistakes men make when a woman ignores them. And once you understand them, you'll never see her silence the same way again. 1. Chasing harder. One of the biggest mistakes men make when a woman ignores them is chasing harder. The logic in your head tells you, if she's not paying attention to me, I need to show her I care more, so she sees my value. But in reality, the harder you chase, the faster she runs. Why? Because attraction isn't built on pressure. It's built on curiosity, mystery, and respect. Think about it like this. The moment you double text, triple text, or suddenly start liking all her photos just to get noticed, you're communicating one thing, that her attention is worth more than your dignity. And no woman, deep down, respects a man who puts her above himself. When you chase harder, you kill the very thing that could have made her come back, her interest. Women are naturally drawn to men who have self-control, who can walk away, and who understand their own worth. By chasing harder, you're sending the opposite signal. You're saying, you're the prize, I'm the pursuer, and I'll do whatever it takes to win you back. But here's the reality. The man who truly holds power in dating is the one who doesn't need to chase at all. Imagine this. A woman ignores 2 different men. The first man panics. He sends 5 texts in a row, calls twice, and even sends a funny meme to lighten the mood. She doesn't answer. The second man? He notices her silence, doesn't react, and instead goes out with his friends, posts a picture at the gym, and keeps living his life. Which man do you think she's more curious about? Exactly, the one who didn't chase. The bottom line is simple. Chasing harder never gets her attention the way you want it to. It only makes her see you as replaceable. The strongest move you can make when she ignores you is not to chase at all. 2. Blowing up her phone. When a woman ignores you, a lot of men immediately grab their phone and start firing off message after message, thinking, if I just keep trying, she'll finally respond. But here's the truth. Every extra text you send lowers your value in her eyes. You're not coming across as persistent, you're coming across as desperate. Women are wired to notice behavior shifts. If you go from calm and confident to needy and spammy, the second she goes quiet, she instantly knows you can't handle pressure. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who looks like he's falling apart over a little silence. Here's what most men don't realize. Sometimes a woman ignores you to test how much control you have over yourself. If you blow up her phone, you fail the test. Instead of seeing you as strong, she sees you as insecure, impatient, and unworthy of respect. For example, imagine a woman doesn't reply to your good morning text. A weak man sends, hey, did you see my message? Then, are you mad at me? Then maybe a sad emoji or even a call. By the 3rd attempt, she's already rolling her eyes. On the other hand, a man with self-respect sends one message, and if there's no reply, he doesn't send another. Maybe he doesn't even check his phone for hours. When she finally opens her messages, she sees he didn't chase, and that contrast instantly makes her wonder why. Here's the secret. Mystery creates attraction, while overexposure kills it. If you flood her with texts, there's nothing left for her to wonder about. But if you show restraint, she starts to think, why isn't he trying harder? Why isn't he chasing me like the others? And that thought alone can pull her attention right back to you. So the next time you're tempted to blow up her phone, stop. Remember this. Every unanswered text after the first one lowers your value, but every silence you maintain raises. 3. Begging for answers. One of the most damaging mistakes men make when a woman ignores them is begging for answers. It usually sounds like, why aren't you replying? Did I do something wrong? Please just tell me what's going on. On the surface, it feels harmless. You just want clarity. But to her, it screams insecurity and emotional weakness. Here's what you need to understand. Attraction isn't logical. It's emotional. A woman doesn't sit down and think, since he begged me to explain myself, I feel more attracted to him. In fact, it's the exact opposite. When you beg for answers, you're showing her that her silence controls your mood. You're basically saying, my peace of mind depends on your response. That's not leadership, that's dependence. Every man has felt that frustration, staring at the phone, replaying conversations in his head, wondering what went wrong. And in that moment, the urge to demand clarity feels overwhelming. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Begging never gets you the respect you want. At best, you might get a pity reply. At worst, you'll get nothing. And she'll feel justified in ignoring you even more. The reality is, women are drawn to men who can handle uncertainty without losing composure. If she ignores you and you stay calm, you show strength. If she ignores you and you beg for answers, you show fragility. And no woman desires fragility. Think about it. If you're constantly chasing explanations, you're putting her on a pedestal. You're treating her as the judge and yourself as the defendant, waiting for a verdict. But high-value men don't operate like that. They don't need constant validation. They trust their worth even in silence. So the next time you feel the urge to beg for answers, remind yourself, the strongest statement you can make is not asking why, but showing through your actions that you don't need the answer at all. 4. Trying to buy her back. Another huge mistake men make when a woman ignores them is trying to buy her attention back. Suddenly, you're sending flowers, paying for dinners, buying gifts, or even slipping money into her hands just to win her over. Let's be real, that's not romance, that's desperation dressed up as generosity. Here's the harsh truth. If a woman ignored you before, throwing money at her won't make her respect you. In fact, it often does the opposite. She starts to think, if I just pull away, he'll reward me with gifts. If I ignore him more, I'll get even more. You've now trained her to see your value not in who you are as a man, but in what you can buy. Men need to wake up and realize something important. Women don't respect men they can control with a credit card. She might take the gifts, she might enjoy the free dinners, but deep down she doesn't admire you. She tolerates you. And the second a man walks into her life who doesn't try to buy her, a man who commands respect through his presence, his ambition, his mindset, she'll drop you without hesitation. It's time to stop hiding behind your wallet. Too many men think they can substitute money for masculinity or gifts for real leadership. But that's not how attraction works. A high-value man invests in himself, not in constant bribes to keep a woman's attention. So here's your wake-up call. If you're reaching for your wallet every time she ignores you, you're not proving your worth. You're proving your weakness. Real value isn't purchased, it's lived. Focus on building yourself, becoming the kind of man women respect without gifts. Because when a woman truly desires you, the best gift you can give her is your presence, not your money. 5. Over-explaining yourself. When a woman ignores you, one of the worst habits men fall into is over-explaining themselves. You start sending long paragraphs, justifying your every move, clarifying why you did this or said that, and basically pleading your case like you're in a courtroom. But here's the thing, the more you explain, the guiltier you look, and the weaker you appear. Over-explaining comes from fear. Fear that she misunderstood you, fear that she's losing interest, fear that you're not good enough, as you are. So you try to control the narrative with words. But women don't respect endless explanations. They respect composure and action. When you flood her with justifications, all she hears is insecurity. Every man has been there. You send a message, she doesn't respond, and suddenly you're typing out, "I didn't mean it that way, I was just busy, I hope you're not upset, I really like you, I'd never disrespect you." And by the time you hit send, you've already surrendered all your power. You've made her silence the center of your world. Here's what men need to understand. Women don't want to read essays defending your behavior. They want to feel your confidence through silence and consistency. If she's ignoring you, your best response isn't to prove yourself, it's to live in such a way that you don't need to explain at all. Strong men let their actions speak. Weak men write paragraphs hoping for mercy. When you over-explain, you're basically begging her to validate you. But validation isn't given to men who chase it. It's given to men who don't need it. The man who calmly accepts her silence and carries on with his life is far more attractive than the man typing out explanations at midnight. So the next time you feel that urge to justify yourself, stop, breathe. Ask yourself, am I explaining because it's necessary or because I'm scared of losing her? If the answer is fear, say nothing. Confidence doesn't explain itself. It simply exists. 6. Playing the same game. When a woman ignores you, some men think the smart response is to ignore her back. They believe, if she's silent, I'll be silent too. That will show her I don't care. On the surface, it feels like strength, but in reality, it's not strength. It's pettiness. It's playing the same game instead of rising above it. Here's the truth. Mirroring her silence as revenge doesn't make you look powerful. It makes you look immature. You're no longer leading, you're reacting. And a man who simply reacts to a woman's behavior has already lost control of the frame. She dictates the rhythm, and you just dance to her tune. This mistake is dangerous because it hides under the illusion of confidence. You tell yourself you're being strong, but deep down, you're still focused on her. You're still waiting for her to break the silence, still hoping your tough act pulls her back. But women can feel the difference between true indifference and fake indifference. And fake indifference is easy to spot. Think about it. If you're ignoring her back just to make her notice, you're still trapped in the same cycle of neediness. You're proving that her actions control you, even if you're pretending they don't. Real power doesn't come from copying her behavior. It comes from being unaffected by it. The man she respects isn't the one trying to win the game. It's the one who doesn't play it at all. While she's busy withholding attention, he's focused on his own mission, his goals, his purpose. He doesn't need to act like he doesn't care. He actually doesn't care. And that authenticity is what makes him stand out. So here's the lesson. Don't fall into the trap of playing games. If she ignores you, ignoring her back isn't strength. Detachment is. Walk away with calmness, not with an agenda, because true confidence isn't about beating her at her own game. It's about refusing to play it in the first place. 7. Losing focus on yourself. The final and most damaging mistake men make when a woman ignores them is losing focus on themselves. Instead of staying grounded, they let her silence consume their energy. Suddenly, the gym doesn't matter, their goals don't matter, even their friends don't matter. All that matters is why she isn't texting back. This is the trap that destroys men the fastest. Because the moment you shift all your attention onto her, you stop being the man she was drawn to in the first place. Remember, she was attracted to you because you had a life, a purpose, and a sense of direction. But if you give that up the second she pulls away, you're proving that your entire world revolves around her, and no woman wants to carry that weight. Here's the hard truth. When she ignores you, that's when you need to double down on yourself. Train harder, work smarter, expand your mind, and build your value. Not for her, not for revenge, but for you. Because the man who keeps growing no matter what is the man women respect. If you lose focus on yourself, you lose everything. But if you stay locked in on your path, her silence becomes irrelevant. And ironically, that's when she often comes back. Because nothing is more attractive than a man who refuses to lose himself for anyone. Conclusion. Here's the truth that no one wants to admit. When a woman ignores you, it's not always about her. Sometimes it's about you. And if that makes you uncomfortable, good. Because here's the controversial reality. Most men deserve to be ignored. Why? Because too many men hand over their power, their time, and their identity the second a woman gives them attention. Then they cry betrayal when she pulls it away. That's the brutal game of modern dating. Women don't respect men who crumble under silence. They respect men who thrive no matter what. And if you've been making the mistakes we've just covered, chasing harder, blowing up her phone, begging, buying her attention, over-explaining, playing games, or losing yourself, you need to wake up. Every second you waste obsessing over her is a second stolen from your own growth, your own future, your own dominance as a man. So let me leave you with this. If you let a woman's silence define your worth, you were never worth much to begin with. That's controversial, but it's the truth. A strong man doesn't need her attention to validate his identity. He builds himself, with or without her. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Tell me if you've made these mistakes, if you've been ignored, or if you've broken free from this trap. I'll be reaching out, starting conversations, and connecting with you. Because this isn't just a video, it's a wake-up call. If you think being ignored is painful, wait until you hear the one phrase women secretly use to test your entire masculinity. That's what I'll be revealing in the next video. Don't miss it.